It's Queen Oumy on Instagram. And this is Self with Queen Oumy. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Before I begin, I want to start off by shouting out a business. I think I'm gonna start doing that every video now. So every video I'm gonna go ahead and shout out a Black-owned business, people I know personally, people I know of, you know, just regular, degular, schmegular people that is doing their thing. You know, it's very inspiring for me. So I just hope other people find it inspiring. The first person ever to be shouted out on Self with Queen Oumy is my good friend TJ, and his Instagram is at BTO STL. I think it's at BTO STL, but I'll add it to the video so you guys can follow him. And I'm telling you, when I say the growth, okay, like he literally said, hey, I'm finna start making rugs. Started making rugs. I'm finna start making logos. Started making logos. I'm finna start making stickers. Started making stickers. This dude is making like acrylic, what is it called? Acrylic, and it's like abstract art. Fire. He's so talented. He's literally like one of the hardest working people I know. Like, single father doing his thing, like, yeah, from St. Louis. So hit him up on Instagram. He got all the stuff on his page. He doing his Thug Dizzle on TikTok. So I'm gonna shout you out. So today in my video, I wanted to touch on mindfulness. I feel like mindfulness is very crucial and very beneficial to our healing journey and our mental health. And I definitely wanted to give a few gems that I've learned, and hopefully you guys like it. Okay, so the definition of mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. And that means, like, you know, I know what's going on. Like what we used to say back in the day, like woke. Oh, so and so is woke. Yeah, if you're mindful, you're woke. That's the new woke. Okay, so the second definition of mindfulness is a little wordy, and you know, I want to make sure I got the definition right, so I'm going to read it. Don't judge, okay? So the second definition of mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moments while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. This is normally used as a therapeutic technique. Sorry. Personally, my definition of mindfulness is being able to redirect your thoughts into the present moment or into something positive. And that's just my personal definition. I'm really careful in how I use my definition because a lot of people say being mindful is being able to control your thoughts. And I feel like that's kind of misleading because that's easier said than done. Like, you can't control your thoughts. Your thoughts just come rolling in. Your thoughts be like,
what's up? Remember me?
So I don't understand sometimes when people say, oh, you need to control your thoughts. No, you need to acknowledge your thoughts. You need to be aware of your thoughts and then attempt or strive to think differently. I definitely think that mindfulness is a way of just redirecting your thoughts, redirecting your habits into becoming the better version of yourself, or the most elevated or ascendant or transcendent version of yourself. Practicing mindfulness is beneficial because it definitely helps with gaining clarity, staying focused. I feel like it definitely helps with emotional intelligence, because to be able to be mindful, you have to acknowledge your feelings. And the definition of emotional intelligence, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it is the awareness of one's emotions and the emotions of others. So, you know, I feel like it definitely ties hand in hand. For me personally, practicing mindfulness definitely made me more appreciative. It just made me feel a certain way. I really can't explain it, but it definitely helped improve my moods. Okay, so ways to practice mindfulness is for me, number one, meditating. Just focusing on your breathing in general. You don't have to really sit in crisscross applesauce and be like you don't really have to do that. Another thing is I heard J. Cole interview that he did with, I want to say it was Angie Martinez. I think it was Angie Martinez. It was a really good interview on YouTube. But he was talking about how his journey was starting to meditate and things like that. And he was saying how it was such like a misconception of how like people think meditating is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, he'll literally be just sitting there and he'll hear the fan going, like how my fan just kicked on, you know what I'm saying? And he'll just sit there and focus on the sound of the fan. He'll just keep focusing on the sound of the fan. And naturally your mind is going to wander. Your mind is going to start thinking about other things because, like I said previously, we're literally on autopilot. Once his mind starts to wander, he gets back into, hold on, I'm listening to that fan going. That's what I was focusing on. I feel like another way to practice mindfulness is journaling. Me personally, I journaled most of my life. I would say I probably started journaling when I was like 10. I kept a diary since I was 10. You know what I'm saying? I had all my little secrets in my diary. Like, you know, I used to have it in the tip-top secret spot, and I used to write "do not open" all over it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, my siblings knew not to touch Oumy's notebook, like, because that to me was like my sacred thing. I love journaling, and I would recommend that for anybody. Another way to practice mindfulness is observing your surroundings. The best way I can describe what I mean is to try to activate your five senses in some sort. You know, sometimes obviously if you don't have something in your mouth, then you're not going to taste anything. Just the senses that you're able to utilize at the moment. So me personally, I like to go to the park. Like I'm a cold nature person, so I love being outside in the sun, and like that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? I go sit in the park, listen to my music, or have my journal with me. And I love focusing on the birds chirping. Like, I don't know what it is for me, but birds chirping is such a beautiful and like uppity sound. Like, birds chirping don't sound sad, it sounds happy to me. So I don't know, but just doing that, or just paying attention to like when you're at night, when you're driving around, like in Dallas, when you're driving around and all the lights is shining and all these different colors, they got the cowboy signs up, like just paying attention to those colors and like the transition of the colors. Like, that's practicing mindfulness. I definitely feel like observing your surroundings, that is forcing you to be in the present moment. Like, you can't think about the past and think about these lights that's changing colors in front of you at the same time. It don't work like that. I feel like this is kind of similar, but like living in the moment, instead of sitting and dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, how about we all just be in the present moment, live in the moment? You know what I'm saying? Like Drake said, YOLO, you only live once. Like, why are you sitting worrying when, and I'm talking to myself when I say this, please believe, because sis be straight anxiety through the roof for literally no reason. Oh my God, y'all seen that video of the little boy in the pool? He was like crying and just shaking and just screaming like he was scared for his life, and his mom was trying to help him, and he was like, he stands up. And like after he stands up, it was just like he was so calm. Like, that's me. I cannot stand when I go out to eat and the person that I'm going out to eat or the people that I'm going out to eat with is all on their phones. Why? We're supposed to be catching up on time. We're supposed to be talking about things that excite us, like getting to know each other more. Like, why are we on our phones? You know what I'm saying? And I have a bad habit of pulling out my phone, but I try to practice mindfulness, so I hurry up and put my phone up. Like, I literally be like, no girl, that's rude, put your phone up, because then they're gonna have the notion that you don't value their presence or value their time. So many people is like scrolling on Instagram, and you got your whole family sitting in front of you when you could be creating memories. You too busy looking at other people's memories that they created, you know? Lastly, I feel like a great way to practice mindfulness is picking up some type of hobby that forces you to use your artistry. And what I mean by that is like performing arts or visual arts. What's the best way I can explain it? When you're doing something creative, let's say writing a song or dancing or painting, anything like that puts you in a meditative state. Like, do you hear when like sometimes people be like, man, I was on that stage and I was in my zone? Like, that zone is that meditative state. Like, that's what that in my theory is. When people say I'm in my zone, I was in my zone, I was zoned in, that is that meditative state that they was talking about. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you know me personally, you know I literally bring up his teachings all the time. Like, this man is so cold to me. Like, the fact that you can take the mystical side of things, like what people would say is mystical is like spirituality and meditating and yoga and holistic type of living, versus actual science, and we did these studies, and based off of these studies, these are the facts. He took that and literally combined them. Like, when I say the GOAT to me, like, I love me some Dr. Joe Dispenza, okay? But he teaches that meditation can transform the brain and heal the body. Or, in his words, transform the mind and heal the body. His research shows that meditating actually causes brain and heart coherence. So, in other words, brain and heart coherence is basically you think how you feel, and how you feel is how you think. When you're thinking, let's say you're thinking of a traumatic thought or a traumatic event that happened, our brain doesn't know the difference between a current event and a past event. So when you're thinking of those traumatic events that happened, your brain starts to fire up what he calls magnetic neurons. Okay, I got it. And they fire up in your brain. So with your brain, when it's thinking certain thoughts, it starts to actually feel those emotions as if those thoughts are currently happening. I feel like prime example is when you think of something that made you hella mad. And I know I ain't the only one that do it. But like when you think of like an argument you may have had or whatever, and you standing in the mirror and you like reenacting the argument. Everybody does it. I know other people do it, bruh. Another example of brain and heart coherence is when you think of a sad event or something that something tragic that happened. Like for me personally, my brother's death was something really tragic for our family, you know what I'm saying? And when he first passed away, I used to, and I still do it, but it's just I can control my emotions a little more now. But I would think about the day that I found out he passed away. Like, I literally would say that was the worst day of my life. Like, and it was like the way that I found out, me having to get on a flight, leave, the emotions that I was feeling. Like, when I think about that time, I can literally feel how like my heart was aching. Like, I can literally feel that. That's brain and heart coherence, like to the point where tears start to fall or my heart starts to beat fast, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about that time. And that's just how our brains work. That's how we're wired. If people experience brain and heart coherence all the time, then people can use their thoughts to heal their body. You know, let's reverse engineer that. So We all heard of someone who was living their best life, looked healthy, looked good. Next thing you know, they found out they had cancer, and a month later they passed away. Their thoughts most likely was negative thoughts. Oh, I'm not going to beat this. I'm not going to make it. What is my family going to do? It's more worrying than being optimistic. If that can happen, then if people choose to focus on healing their body, then maybe this will work. He started doing like retreats and meditation retreats where he would teach people how to practice mindfulness and hold like group meditating groups and things like that. Just take that as food for thought. Like, let that sink in. Let that sink in, because really you're telling yourself, my mind, if I put my mind to it, I can do anything. If I put my mind to healing my body, I can do that. And ways to do that is to practice mindfulness. When I learn something new, I want to share it to the whole world. I don't be wanting to hold it for my own, but then sometimes you do also know. Oh, Dr. Joe Dispenza said this as well. When you're going through some type of awakening or you're learning to practice mindfulness, try not to convince everybody, because you're literally wasting energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're talking to someone and you're up here and they're down here, in order to talk to them, you have to either come down here to their level or they have to come up here to your level. That's the only way of communicating. So if you're up here and they're wondering, hey, what are you doing to be up here? Let me go ahead and find out. Then boom, you're still here and you're able to help. And that's fulfilling, right? But if they down here and you're up here and they stay down here and they choose to stay down here, guess what? You're still up here at the end of the day. So keep that in mind as well. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. The support that I get from people, like the subscribers that I do have, the people that like post my content on Instagram or like DM me and, you know, congratulate me or give me well wishes. Like, I see that and I really appreciate it. Like, literally, I feel like the world would be such a better place if we all just work together and support each other. You know, that's really all we want to do. Like, this wicked world made us something that we're not. And I hope that this channel rear us back to just loving each other and showing each other compassion and teaching each other. I'll see y'all next week. Always remember, healing begins and ends with self. You keep taking me higher and higher.